Musashi never imagined he'd get completely manhandled by an old man in his 80s. His speed and power, the things he prided himself on, meant absolutely nothing against Motobi. This was the greatest swordsman of the Warring States era, and he was getting tossed around like garbage. He barely saved himself by planting one hand on the ground, curling into a ball, and rolling to a stop. His left eye was already blurring. Every technique Motobi had used came straight from the battlefields of Musashi's own era, and that earned Motobi some serious respect. Motobi calmly lit a cigarette, picked up his bottle, and walked toward Musashi. He offered Musashi a smoke. Musashi took one without hesitation, held it under his nose, then sniffed the bottle too. He told Motobi that aside from the one already in his mouth, every single cigarette and even the bottle were coated in poison. His trick was exposed, but Motobi only got more excited. The techniques he'd spent years perfecting were finally being put to the test. Mid-sentence, Motobi flicked his cigarette at Musashi. Musashi caught it with one hand, popped it in his mouth, and took a deep drag. He suggested they use the smoke as the signal to start. Before Musashi could even draw his sword, Motobi nailed him with an ashtray strike and dropped him. Then he pulled out explosives and hurled them straight at Musashi. Under the thick smoke, Motobi snatched Musashi's sword, but the charge was too weak to even tear his clothes. Once Musashi shook it off, he started loosening his joints and asked how Motobi planned to pay for the scar on his face. Motobi just smirked and threw the katana at him like a javelin. Musashi caught it with one hand. Since the sword was gone, Motobi tossed the scabbard back too, except he packed it with explosives. The blast left Musashi completely dazed. Before he could recover, Motobi swung a meteor hammer right into his vitals. The repeated blows knocked Musashi's teeth out, but Motobi wasn't done. He whipped his chain around Musashi's katana and pulled with everything he had, but the blade didn't budge. Musashi was holding it in place with just 2 fingers. Then he flicked his wrist, and the steel chain shattered like porcelain. Motobi hurled a short spear. He knew he couldn't beat Musashi up close, but charged in anyway. Musashi dodged and sliced the weapon in half. Motobi didn't flinch. He switched to hand-to-hand combat and cracked a roundhouse kick across Musashi's face. Before Musashi could react, Motobi slipped on brass knuckles and drilled him right in the jaw. The slick combo left Musashi stunned, dropping him to his knees. Just as Motobi pulled a dagger for the killing blow, Musashi slashed him clean across the front. Everyone thought Motobi was finished, but Musashi touched the wound on his own face and asked if Motobi was wearing chainmail. He was, but even with armor, the sheer force behind the slash still did heavy damage. Musashi could see that Motobi had armored not just his torso, but all 4 limbs. None of it mattered. With one swing, Musashi severed both of Motobi's hands along with his guards. Motobi tried to pull a hidden weapon, but Musashi slashed through both his legs too. With all 4 limbs gone, Motobi collapsed. Musashi struck again, driving his blade deep into Motobi's shoulder. Motobi had nothing left. Baki screamed for Musashi to stop, but Motobi refused to give up. He threw his entire body weight into Musashi, knocking him down, then headbutted him over and over. This was his last chance. While Musashi was dazed, Motobi bit down on his own wrist and locked in a rear naked choke. Musashi stabbed the katana into Motobi's shoulder, twisting and pushing, but Motobi wouldn't let go. His legs were already destroyed. If he released this hold, he'd never be able to protect his friends again. Under the relentless pressure, Musashi's consciousness faded. His eyes rolled back, and he went limp. The entire arena was in shock. Motobi had actually done it. He defeated Musashi single-handedly. The crowd erupted in applause. 2 minutes later, Musashi woke up. Looking at Motobi sitting across from him, he admitted his loss without hesitation. Motobi acknowledged that Musashi had been holding back the entire time, otherwise, he would have died 1,000 times over. Then Motobi asked if Musashi wanted to try a real fight, a deathmatch. Musashi slowly stood up and pulled the katana out of Motobi's body.
ありがとう。それでもお前は勝っている。